From our Chicago studios, this is the Muslim News on Muslim Network TV. Assalamu alaikum, I'm Samana Siddiqui. Our top story tonight. Since India's first round of polling was held on April 7th, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has resorted to fiery speeches against the country's 200 million Muslims. He has called Muslims infiltrators and implied that they have too many children. The opposition Congress Party has filed a complaint accusing Modi of violating election rules. In response, the Election Commission of India has directed the ruling Bharatiya Janata Party President Jagat Prakash Nadda to explain Modi's remarks. Modi's government has been accused by human rights groups of targeting Muslims and other minorities through discriminatory laws and creating a culture of acceptance for attacks on them. Under Modi, who came to power in 2014, India has passed a new citizenship law that legal experts and Muslims say discriminates against Muslims. Modi's BJP party has often referred to Muslims as infiltrators and illegal migrants from Bangladesh and Pakistan. Muslims have been lynched by Hindu mobs over allegations of eating beef or smuggling cows, an animal considered holy to Hindus. Muslim businesses have been boycotted, their homes and businesses have been bulldozed, and places of worship set on fire. There have also been open calls for genocide against Muslims. The Muslim Public Affairs Council has condemned the potential deployment of the National Guard against Columbia University's Gaza Solidarity encampment protesters. The students are opposing the university's investments in companies profiting from Israel's war and violence in Palestine. The council argues that Columbia's history of over-policing infringes on constitutional freedoms and sets a troubling precedent. Republican senators, many of whom are influenced by pro-Israeli lobbyists, support police action against the students. The council is urging a re-evaluation of handling campus protests, emphasizing dialogue over force and reaffirming the right to free expression. It has called for de-escalation strategies and protection of civil liberties, rejecting fear tactics aimed at silencing pro-Palestinian voices and redirecting attention from Gaza's plight. In related news, 54 professors from Columbia University's law school have criticized the school's decision to suspend student protesters and allow a police raid on campus. They stressed the lack of procedural transparency and the school involving the New York Police Department. The professors argue such actions have undermined the university's legitimacy. The faculty's letter addressed to Columbia's leadership urges respect for rule of law values. While faculty members expressed no stance on the protest's merits, they stressed the importance of upholding basic principles. The university declined to comment on the letter sent to President Nemat Shafiq, the Board of Trustees, deans, and other administrators. Israeli strikes have killed 43 Palestinians and injured 64 others in the past 24 hours, according to the Palestinian Health Ministry. Palestinian journalist Muhammad al-Jamal was killed in an airstrike, bringing the toll of journalists killed since October to 141. A Belgian aid worker and his 7-year-old son were also killed in Rafah, southern Gaza. Additionally, Israeli artillery fire has caused further casualties north of the Nusayrat refugee camp and near the Burej refugee camp. In central Gaza, 4 people were killed in Israeli tank shelling. Earlier, Palestinian hospital officials said Israeli airstrikes on Rafah killed at least 5 people. Top Hamas official Khalil al-Hayya has said the group is willing to agree to a truce of 5 years and transform into a political party if a 2-state solution is implemented. At least 34,305 Palestinians have been killed and 77,293 wounded in Israel's war on Gaza since October 7th. They include 14,500 children and 9,500 women in Gaza. The death toll is estimated to be far higher, with thousands believed buried under the debris of buildings collapsed during Israeli strikes. Gaza's Civil Defense Agency reports the discovery of 3 mass graves holding 392 bodies, showing signs of executions and live burials. Only 65 bodies have been identified due to decomposition and mutilation. The search in Khan Yunis continues amid demands for answers from Israeli leaders. Addressing a press conference on Thursday, the head of Khan Yunis' Civil Defense Department, Yamin Abu Suleiman, revealed the shocking details. He says Israeli forces had buried 10 Palestinians alive, with their bodies recovered with hands tied and some with medical tubes, hinting that they were alive when buried. The Palestinian Civil Defense is seeking forensic examination, especially for around 20 suspected live burials, including those of children. Abu Suleiman says the graves found near Nasser Hospital were located behind the morgue, in front of it, and near the dialysis building. Bodies were haphazardly stacked, bearing signs of field executions. The discovery has intensified calls for accountability and justice in Israel's ongoing war on Gaza. Israel stands accused of genocide in the International Criminal Court. An interim ruling in January ordered Israel to take steps to prevent any acts of genocide in Gaza. Israel's actions in Gaza threaten international law. Details after the break, so stay tuned and we'll be right back. Welcome back. Amnesty International's annual report has highlighted Israel's war on Gaza as a major threat to international law. It is accusing Israel of violating key humanitarian law principles, resulting in 21,600 Palestinian deaths by 2023. The toll now exceeds 34,000. The report also emphasizes the failure of global allies to restrain Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's government from bombing civilians, displacing millions, and impeding aid flow into Gaza. Amnesty warns that this, along with other conflicts like Russia's invasion of Ukraine, has led to a near breakdown of international law. The Human Rights Watchdog's Secretary General, Agnes Callamard, has criticized the post-World War II system's failure to uphold universal human rights. The report calls for accountability and underscores the urgent need to uphold human rights and international law amidst escalating global conflicts. The Council on American Islamic Relations has strongly denounced the forcible dismantling of a peaceful 54-day protest outside the Israeli embassy in Washington, D.C. The protest, which was organized by anti-war demonstrators, maintained peaceful engagement with law enforcement throughout. However, without prior warning or clear reason, police and federal authorities ordered protesters to disperse or face arrest. CAIR criticized the move as an unjustifiable violation of constitutional rights, emphasizing the importance of peaceful assembly. Before this incident, a pro-Israel leader was arrested for allegedly assaulting demonstrators. Ezra Weinblatt allegedly threw audio equipment of pro-Palestine activists into the street and struck a female demonstrator in the face. The controversy comes amid nationwide protests of Israel's war on Gaza, with public opinion shifting toward disapproval. Democrats, Republicans, and independents have shown decreased support for Israel's war compared to previous months. A man accused of a stabbing attack in Austin, Texas, will not be charged with a hate crime, despite allegations of using racial slurs during an attack. Burt James Baker was accused of stabbing a Palestinian-American following a Free Palestine rally, but a grand jury did not find evidence of a hate crime. Baker was instead indicted on a charge of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. Travis County District Attorney Jose Garza emphasized the office's commitment to prosecuting hate crimes. Baker allegedly verbally assaulted a group in a pickup truck, resulting in a physical fight, Austin police said. Witnesses claimed Baker attacked one victim and stabbed another. The victim believed he targeted them due to a Palestinian scarf in their truck, police said. Baker remains in jail on a $100,000 bond. At least 300 pro-Palestinian activists have reportedly been arrested near Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer's home in Brooklyn, New York. They were protesting against an aid package approved by the U.S. government providing $26 billion to Israel. The protest, organized by Jewish Voice for Peace, was held during the Jewish Passover holiday. The group said on its X account that demonstrators blocked traffic at Schumer's doorstep to demand the U.S. stop arming and funding the Israeli government. The group said New York police arrested hundreds of protesters, while some U.S. outlets reported at least 100 were arrested. Canada's legislature in the province of Ontario has rejected a proposal to lift the ban on wearing Keffiyeh scarves for the second time. The ban was initiated by Speaker Ted Arnott, citing concerns the scarf symbolized political support for Palestine. Despite efforts by New Democratic Party leader Marit Stiles and support from Liberal leader Bonnie Crombie, as well as Premier Doug Ford, the motion failed. Stiles argued that the Keffiyeh was a cultural symbol, not a political statement. Ford, initially against the ban, allowed his party members to vote freely. However, many conservatives voted to maintain it. Analysts say the decision underscores ongoing debate about the cultural significance and political connotations of the Keffiyeh in Canada and other Western countries. Tennessee legislators have approved a bill permitting school staff to carry concealed firearms on campus following a shooting in Nashville last year. The Republican-led House voted 68 to 28 in favor of the bill, requiring 40 hours of annual training for those wishing to carry guns. Despite protests, including chants of blood on your hands from the gallery, the bill was approved. Tennessee joins 26 other states allowing armed teachers or staff on school premises, citing safety concerns. Republican Representative Ryan Williams supported the measure, saying it is a deterrent to violence. However, Representative Justin Jamal Pearson opposed it, citing moral and safety concerns. The decision has sparked debate over the effectiveness and ethics of arming educators in classrooms. The Federal Trade Commission, or FTC, has approved a ban on most non-compete clauses in the U.S., with a 3-2 vote split along party lines. The decision was celebrated by workers' rights advocates, including FTC Chair Lina Khan, who said such clauses keep wages low and stifle innovation. The ban aims to provide Americans with the freedom to change jobs, start businesses, and foster new ideas. Estimates suggest it could lead to an increase on average of $524 per worker, as well as thousands of new startups and patents annually. Non-compete agreements, which restrict employees from joining or starting competing businesses after leaving a job, are prevalent. They affect more than a quarter of private sector workers, including low-wage employees. Despite this, the U.S. Chamber of Commerce plans to challenge the ban, potentially affecting the FTC's regulatory authority. 5 Rohingya Muslims, allegedly detained by the Arakan army in Burma's Rakhine state, were found dead after being arrested. The victims, hailing from Abu Gyar village, had disappeared on April 17th. Their bodies were discovered 5 days later. The Arakan army had denied involvement in their deaths, attributing them to warring drug factions. The families of the deceased men have been unable to claim the bodies for burial. Tensions are escalating in the region as Rohingya Muslims have endured historical persecution, intensified by recent junta recruitment efforts. Conflict between the predominantly Buddhist Arakan army and junta forces has displaced many Muslim-majority Rohingya into camps. Meanwhile, the junta is accusing the Rohingya of aiding insurgents. That's all from our Chicago studios tonight. Thank you for tuning in. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell icon for the latest updates. Your support is needed more than ever to continue our mission of providing informative, educational, and inspiring content to Muslims in North America and around the world. Donate now by visiting muslimnetwork.tv/donate. For more content, keep watching Muslim Network TV or visit muslimnetwork.tv. Salam and good night.